Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while. I know many of you may have checked the weather this morning and there wasn't a prediction for a shitstorm on the horizon, but there's one on the way. So I'm just giving you a heads up. I want to talk about why I am no longer vegan. I'm no longer going to be spouting off the vegan militia cult mentality statements that you see everywhere online, and I'm no longer going to implement the dietary restrictions of veganism onto my life. The same goes for Lauren, my wife. She's not here in this video at the moment, although she'd like to be because she's looking after our son. So the first thing I want to talk about is the community of veganism online, okay? As a devout vegan of 3 years, and there seems to be a weird thing with 3 years. After 3 years, people either have a breakdown like I have. If I'm totally honest, guys, this lifestyle has led me to literally break down. And Lauren and I have got to a point where we're just like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we putting ourselves and our lives and our son's, future in jeopardy because of something that we imposed on ourselves? It's complete and utter madness. So, as a 3-year vegan who never had a slip up, who was really, seriously to a T, there would be times when I would miss meals and go literally I think once we went a period where we were in transit, flying from somewhere like Nepal to New York, 56 hours, and all we had was a fucking bag of apples. A bag of apples. I'm just going to say that again. A bag of apples, guys, in 56 hours. If someone's like, for the next 56 hours, I'm going to give you a fucking bag of apples, you'd be like, well, what have I done wrong? Anyway, I want to talk about this community, and we'll go on from there. So, from my experience, 3 years in the vegan community, and I have been a militant vegan, I actually went into it and very quickly was absorbed into the militant crowd. If you are a militant vegan, and I just want to warn you, this video is going to trigger you, and if you leave some sort of militant comment down below, which I've been there, I've done that, I understand how you're feeling. These videos used to wind me up big time. I'm just going to leave you a little squad car for you. That's your vegan police car, and you can take your vegan police car and take it back to your vegan police station. I've been where you are, and throughout the 3-year period, I've always observed others within my community, because I truly believed I did belong to a community. I don't anymore. I don't even want to. If there is a community, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be vegan. I'm very happy to say I am not vegan. You can probably tell I'm a bit pissed off, but I'm also feeling a great sense of liberation. So there are several types of people in this community, and one of the types of people I've noticed are people who have come into this community and they're recovering from some form of eating disorder. I am not a master on eating disorders. I'm not going to claim to be. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not going to tell you whether you do or do not have an eating disorder and whether what you're doing is correct. Some people who have eating disorders in this community we are friendly with, and I respect them as people. But this is a generalization of people I have seen who've come to veganism with an eating disorder, and I think what it allows them to do is restrict, but have something that other people are encouraging them to restrict, which is the worst thing I believe you can do for someone with an eating disorder, in the name of something which they believe is bigger than themselves. And we'll get onto the hypocrisies of veganism later, and there are many. They come into it and they are basically allowed to restrict, which is cruel to do to someone with an eating disorder. It really is cruel to do to someone who has restrictive thoughts about food. The first things a doctor will tell you, who is encouraging you and trying to help you get over, say, like anorexia or something, is don't eat. They will never put a limitation on any food group, and animal foods, animal products would be one of the food groups. If you were like, I'm cutting that out altogether, they'd be like, alarm bells ringing. This is a lot of people, and it comes in a wide variety of extremities. You have some people who are really struggling with their eating disorders, and some people who've it's been with them since their teens and they're not really sure about this and that. And a lot of people, restrictive eaters come to veganism and they're basically enabled. They're enabled, and that's not fair to them. If you are one of those people, I encourage you to maybe rethink, and you're not a bad person if you are trying your best, but you're not destroying yourself. You have to find the line. If you are ultimately going to be destroyed as a human being, mentally or physically, by this restriction, then you need to stop, because you're good for nothing. You can do good without being a vegan. I'm not trying to encourage people. This isn't a video about encouraging people to not be vegan. This is a video encouraging people to question their choices, question their life, question everything. I've always said that. Question everything. Fucking question me. You don't really have to. Why the fuck would I make this video? This is like social media suicide. I've belonged to this group for such a long time, and I'm like, see ya. And on top of that, then you have a group of vegans who exploit those people, make money from those people and offer them false promises. They do this in the means of like an ebook, which they'll charge an extortionate amount of money, promising them that they'll recover from their eating disorder, because I did. And it's like, that is criminal, and I think these people should answer for their crimes. It's literally criminal. There actually are laws to prevent people from doing this, but YouTube is a bit of a grey area when it comes to what lawyers can and can't do, because everyone's all over the place and no one really knows what's going on. So they're literally exploiting people's bad habits or mental disabilities and saying that they've cured things that are scientifically incurable, but miraculously they did on their diet that they are encouraging you to buy. If you truly are in it for ethics, some of these people claim to be, whilst selling you something for health and being totally obsessed with their own health, then you'd give this information for free, because apparently it can change the world. If you truly believed it, it would be free. Like the NHS, they don't charge for the information on their website. They just give you it for free, because it's just health advice. If you truly believe you're giving health advice, you truly believe it's going to, one, save animals, save the planet, save the people, and save your health and save other people's health, that's 4 good reasons in your head to give that information for free. There are 2 types of people that I've come across in this community. The other type of people are people who make money from this community, not by selling people stuff, but by inadvertently causing trouble to get their name out there. It doesn't matter what they do or what's being said about them, they don't give a shit. They get their name out there, they use bigger YouTubers. I've done this. I was one of these people. At the same time, there's a cognitive dissonance, because I believed I was doing that and entertaining people, but I also believed in the actual cause itself, which will, again, I'll refer to. We're going to talk about the hypocrisies of veganism later in this video. And these people, they just create such an actual shit show of what it apparently is to be a vegan. And they'll just say the most outlandish things and be so disrespectful to their fellow human beings and fellow members of their community. This what define community, that is not it. And the situation that these people have created is a position where you can raise more money in one night suing somebody, right, than you can in 1 year trying to build an animal sanctuary. Just think about that. The very thing that vegans believe in we cannot even band together. I say we, I'm no longer vegan. You cannot even band together. Some of you could. Some of you, and you know who you are, and we've privately contacted you. We respect you people. You know who you are. This isn't a video aimed at you. There are some people who really believe it and live it, and they don't go around militarizing it and being disrespectful. And for those people, I have the utmost love and respect. They spread it in a positive way. They don't spread hate and anger. They spread it in a loving and positive and respectful way, as it should be, as it is. What it says on the tin is that it's about equality and love, but apparently it got lost in translation somewhere. So you can make more money suing someone in your community than you can trying to do the very thing that the community is ultimately trying to achieve. Okay, as an outsider looking in, I can now say that your community is vastly flawed, and you need to start somehow piecing it together in a way that you are working together. I don't think it is possible for the group of people that have come together online and represent vegans as a whole. I don't think it's possible for those people to do that. There's too much ego, there's too many narcissists, there's criminals, literal criminals who've been done for fraud. There's bald people in China, there's fucking people who claim that their diet is the be-all end-all and will sell you it, but they ride 3 hours up a mountain every day. It's nothing to do with that, that's not why they're lean. It's because of the diet that they're selling you, and it's $25. Just saying. There's too much ego in it, and they can't actually achieve the thing that you're trying to achieve. Those are 3 types of people. Then there are the minority of people who actually believe in it, and they do live it, and they are respectful, and they don't go around policing people. They provide it in an entertaining manner. They try and access the mainstream. They don't demonize people if they're not 100% devoted to the cause at the detriment of their own health. They're nice people, basically. They're normal people. You have these people in every community, and some are more predominant in more communities, and they're more successful. It just so happens that the vegan scene online doesn't attract people like that, not very many. And people who are like that will either, like myself, have a breakdown, and I'm not alone. Like, there are others at the moment who have come out, they're either mentally ill, which is another type of person, or it seems that, so there are 5 types of people. The 5th are people who are actually mental. They have problems, and again, it ranges in variety, extreme to not extreme, but they have actual mental problems, and they're destroying themselves. But because it's for the cause, people are like, yeah, it's okay, you're awesome. And then they think, oh, well, I've got to continue because I'm fucking awesome. Oh, I'm dying though, but never mind, because it's for the animals. Okay, you're going to be good for no one in 2 years though. You're going to be good for nothing. You're going to do no good because you're going to be either admitted or dead. Like, literally. We shouldn't enable people who are mental just for this cause. That they're just destroying themselves, and it's not fair. But back to people who actually believed it and lived it as I did. And if you like, you can't have, because you've just made this choice to start eating animal products again, or a true vegan would be vegan for life. Unless you have a child, and unless you've travelled to 31 countries as a vegan, and unless this is a very narrow group now. What else? Unless you're married, unless you're not some vasectomy freak, then you might as well not bother commenting, because I'm just going to leave you a squad car for your little vegan police force. You don't understand the real world if you haven't travelled as much as we do. The first thing you notice as a vegan, there's 2 things you notice when you travel, and as a vegan. One is that for some people in this world, it's impossible. It is impossible to be vegan. You go tell a Mongolian yak herder to be a vegan, he'd look at you and laugh that you're fucking crazy. But you drive a 4x4, you have an iPhone, you have an Apple laptop, you have a Canon, and you have loads of other digital devices. You are more of a detriment to this planet than the Mongolian yak herder. So how is he less ethical than you just because you're a vegan? We're going to get onto the hypocrisies in a bit. That's the first thing you notice. It's impossible for some people. I know this because I have travelled, and there have been times where I'm so devout, I was like, all I can literally eat is like fruit or nothing. Sometimes nothing. And some of the crazy shit that people force themselves to eat in the name of veganism, like sugar water, 3 litres of it. That's not food. That's not food. And it's not healthy. Okay? Not everything that is vegan is healthy. Okay, we'll get there. And the second thing is that we're never going to have a vegan world. 2 things. It's impossible for some people, and because of that, we are never going to live to see a vegan world. For some vegans, this might be like, that's fine. I'm happy with that because it's my personal choice. As it became for me later, we are never going to live in a vegan world. If we do, which we're not, because if we ever do, it'll be a point where if anyone will eat anything just to survive. So if you see an animal in the fucking Walking Dead world, you'll fucking eat it just to survive. So that's a point that I want to make. It's never going to happen. And if you've lived in a city in America your whole life, and by the way, most of the statistics that come out of veganism are sourced from America, which is not representative of anywhere in Asia, Africa, Europe, South America, and Antarctica, obviously. So, it's lots blown out of proportion. What it takes to raise a cow in America is not what it takes to raise a cow in Asia. It's irresponsible for people who have absolutely no education or credibility or anything to do with environmentalism to go around the planet and online telling people these statistics that are literally about America, and not even all of America. I don't know any American states, but what it takes to literally get a cow to a hamburger in New York is probably not the same as it is in fucking Illinois, okay? It's like many things twisted to fit an agenda. It's not necessarily a bad agenda. It's not a bad agenda, but it is an agenda nonetheless, and it's the way it's used so disrespectfully, and some of the fucking stuff that I used to say to people, I am ashamed. If you happen to be watching this video and I was a militant vegan pissing you off, I'm sorry. Some of the shit, the patronizing shit that I used to say to people is out of order and disrespectful, and I am sorry for that. That's one thing that I know. I can speak on Lauren's behalf. She would say the same. Some of the shit that she used to say to people online as a militant vegan and in person, she would apologise for. I can apologise on her behalf. And it's amazing people who choose to leave this community. They get death threats. People who are like their best friends suddenly disappear. They're not their friends. And it's like, that's not what friendship is. Friendship isn't being a part of something and as soon as that thing is removed, it's no. It's like if you imagine two Muslims and one Muslim was like, I'm really struggling with this whole Allah thing. I just don't believe anymore. And one was like, see you later. I'm not your friend. You won't think of them as a friend, you think of them as a fucking cult. That's a cult. You remove the cult factor, gone. I know this because from Raw Till 4, which I believe is a cult. I had friends. I associated with people in Raw Till 4. As soon as I stopped, they disappeared. They totally disappeared. And I was like, what's going on? Where are you? Disappeared. It's the same with veganism. For most vegans on YouTube, if you're not vegan, you won't be associating with any other vegans. It isn't enough to hold a group of friends together. It really isn't. If that is the only thing that you associate, that helps you, that makes you friends with someone, then there's something wrong with you, and you're putting this cult cause before actual human relationships. When you have human relationships, you can do good together. Look at what this community has achieved on YouTube. Nothing. Not a thing. And people's like, oh, I've turned people vegan. So fucking what? And who's monitoring that? How do you know that? So have I. I don't take any fucking credit for it. That was their personal choice. It's an ego trip. It is an absolute and utter ego trip. I want to get on to the hypocrisies of veganism and what it stands for. So fundamentally, it boils down to four things: animals, people, planet, health. Okay, we've established that health is not always the healthiest option. Sometimes you're starving yourself, sometimes you're just eating fucking fruit, which is not normal. And there are people out there who are eating these all fruit, all fucking raw, shitty diets, and then they look like they're just wasting away. Or they're photoshopping themselves, or something's happening that's off. Or I think, there's ones who've claimed to be raw for years, and it turned out one guy was eating fucking burgers and beers. And this isn't everyone. Some people are successfully raw, I don't know how. I don't think it's healthy, and that's my personal opinion. I'm not going to drop any names of anyone in this. Obviously, I've got a reference towards certain people because some things are just totally crazy, like the criminals, the narcissists, you know, all that business, the scammers, whatever. And then there's for the planet. For the planet, apparently it's very environmentally friendly. Again, the statistics are coming out of America. It's not the entire planet, like it's just America. And again, it's probably like which states without taking in. You should always question statistics. I've studied statistical mathematics. It's not very reliable. Statistics are very location focused, in the moment, only specific to the things that were monitored and taken at that time. It's not enough to be saying and doing and policing the entire fucking world. You know, real change comes in the form of like China cutting meat consumption by 50%. Real change. That's a very effective thing that just happens straight away. But a vegan would be like, that's not good enough. But it's a lot more than you've ever fucking done. It's crazy good. It's a lot more than is happening with this little community of police members. For the planet, if you have a car, then you're not for the fucking planet, are you? And you should stop being a hypocrite, because how was the oil sourced to drive that car? How much environment was destroyed to source water to your tap, your shower, your boiler, whatever? A lot of environment was destroyed, but no one's talking about that. No one talks about that. The babies that were killed in drone strikes to source oil to your car, the wars that you support, the presidents that you vote for who back those wars. But it's okay if you're a vegan, because apparently you are doing more for this planet. I'm sure a Afghan child would turn around and tell you otherwise. I'm really sure. And you might turn around and say, well, Joe, have you never used a car? You're a hypocrite too. I'm no longer spouting off the hypocrisy for health, for the animals, for the planet, for the people. It's utter hypocrisy. If only if you are going around and policing everyone else. For the people. Okay, if you are watching this on a computer, you're not for the people. It's not for the people. Like, that computer, the parts to assemble it and the actual assembly of it was done basically by slaves, debt slaves, people who are on like $2 a day. I've lived amongst these people in China. It's horrible. They work 16 to 20 hours a day, limited breaks, limited food. It's terrible. So if you are one of those people and you're like, I'm vegan for the people, you know, maybe you're vegan for some certain people, or does some people not matter? Are you racist? Does it mean, you know, it's okay because most of the stuff comes out of Asia, but, you know, if you're in America or England or whatever, I care. What is it? You need to start, if you are vegan for the people, which people? Because it's not all people, you know, again, referring to the statistics and the hypocrisy. And vegan for the animals, again, how much environment was destroyed just for you to literally take a shit and flush. Where's that going? It doesn't just like dissolve. It goes somewhere. Probably an environment that has animals in it. The methodology that would be more successful would be to encourage people to make more conscious decisions, to know where their shit comes from. That would be more successful than this be all of it or you're not good enough mentality. Someone who is trying their best, you know, trying their absolute best, should be praised. Like, there are meat eaters on this planet who are less detrimental to this planet than some vegans, certain vegans. A vegan who drives a 4x4, takes planes all around the world, is eating processed shit, you know, is just mindlessly consuming and anything like that, is a bigger detriment to this planet than somebody who isn't those things, but has meat products from time to time, or dairy products, whatever. So this vegan shouldn't have the right to go around telling people like this that they are fundamentally wrong for a cause that is extremely flawed, and I no longer believe in, basically. And I'm not sad to not be a part of it. I do not want to be a part of it, and I get a great sense of liberation, freedom, and even happiness from saying that. And I'm sorry, I know that's going to trigger a lot of people, and it's going to trigger a lot of people who I respect and I think of as friends, and I imagine some of those people are going to not want to associate with me anymore, but that's fine. Like, if that is the only reason that you do associate with me, then I am sorry, like, that's on you. I also want to say, for all the people who think we're going to scam people, we've talked to the people who matter, I've said this, and why the fuck would I make this video? If I was scamming people. This is like, this is the last thing you do, you just disappear if you're scamming someone. And we didn't even raise as much as the however many lawsuits that are dancing around within the vegan community at the moment. Not even a fraction. I am seriously thankful to the people who did support us. We did believe in what we were doing, but it got to a point where it was like, we were ruining our lives, and our son's life. He's 7 months old. Like, what the hell? Like, he didn't deserve that because of this thing that we imposed on ourselves and is fundamentally flawed and is a part of a community that's full of fucking idiots, literal fucking idiots. It's madness. It's madness, and I feel like I've been driving myself to this breakdown for no reason. No reason. I'm not breaking the law. If I chose to eat meat or dairy or eggs, why am I doing it? Why am I doing it to myself? It's basically, if it's not ego for some people, it's financial. They're claiming to be vegan. And we see it all the time, don't we? These vegans who are like, oh, I accidentally bought this thing made of skin or whatever. Like, what do you mean you accidentally bought a fucking thing made of skin? Like, what do you mean? Like, that just doesn't happen. I was a vegan for 3 years. Shit like that doesn't happen. As an outsider offering advice, I would now say, if you are vegan and you do belong to this community and you're getting triggered by everything I've said and you want to belong to it, and there is a level of like, no, that resistance, what he's saying is absolute bullshit, he's gone crazy, he was not a vegan. Think whatever you want, I literally don't give a shit what you think. You need to start taking your community, if you can call it that, if you want to call it that, seriously. And really start to think about yourself and your future, and if your life is being affected by this, you have the right to take your life into your own hands. This cause is only as powerful as the people who believe in it. It is not against the law to do the things that veganism restricts. And watch out, because I don't think Lauren and I know for a fact Lauren and I are not the only people who are thinking this and are going to do this. There have been people before, and they all seem to be coming out now. And if you are one of those people, I would encourage you to be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. It's difficult to do this. It takes some balls or some ovaries to make a video like this to a community like this. That's not good. Communities are accepting. Communities bend and change and adapt and evolve. This one doesn't. Never has. If you're not happy, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to be unhappy. You don't have to be uncomfortable. You don't have to, in many cases, ruin your life. You don't have to do that. Nobody can stop you. People online have gone fucking crazy, crying to a camera, having a mental breakdown on camera. I saved you guys from watching my fucking mental breakdown, and I'm not, I've been very, careful to, not show it and not show it, not let it get that far, because I'm a parent, I have responsibilities. And, Lauren's is saying, we've talked about this a lot, and some thoughts going into this. I haven't just been like, oh, that thought just popped into my head, I'm going to turn the camera on and talk about it. No, I've thought about this for months. And it's time to be honest. It's time to put it out there. I'm not vegan. If you see me eating animal products, then I'm just another person eating animal products. You know, if you're not shouting at all people eating animal products, then, you know, you don't shout at me, basically. This community. This fucking community. What a joke. What a joke.